You know
Previously
me, I'm
on
always
Movified
trying to go for
Wednesdays.
the short answer, Steven.
Well, you got this topic today. You know I'm passionate about this, right?
Best stories that I always share with people when they talk about dispatch, and it says, well, you know what? One of my good friends, Stephen Reed, he has several VAs that handle everything once a truck leaves the yard, from phone calling the customer to checking, and having those systems in place have allowed you to exponentially grow. And that's where we kind of want to take it down, because we talked about this right in the very beginning. There are other VA companies. How is Ready Rolls actually different?
So what is a ready roll? I think that's the difference. I think we're a placement service. We're not a management service. So I want to state that we're not a recruiting company. We're not somewhere.com where we're going to charge you a fee and just say, here you go. I learned that way. That's why we're built that way. We hold your hand through the process. We know it's a scary place. I've been there, and not to knock on somewhere.com. What a company. Wow. It was something I learned in the experience of a leader in the industry. Literally just hands you to you have an interview and that's it. Like if you say yes, well, let me figure out how to pay this person. Right. And so I learned that kind of experience, and I went through that, and I started looking at all the other ones pop up, and they're just adding, they're saying, okay, I'm going to manage this VA for you. And how by manage, I mean, I'm going to screen record them, and I'm going to give you an AI thing that it gives you that says this is a report weekly that says this is the activity of your VA, and I'm going to tell you when there's a problem. Well, I can do that with my big VA team already in my head. They're charging a ridiculous amount. I've heard of up to $16 an hour for an EA. Well, let me tell you how that doesn't work. Right? The VA is getting paid $4.50, if that. You're paying $15 an hour, right? So you're just doing some math. That VA is going to look for another job or try to make some other income, right? So it's not a long-term thing. So you're going to have a lot of turnover in that. So it's you pay a lot of money for that management service. It's not set up for a win-win-win with all parties. So that's how you get a lot of turnover, and then you're training and spending a lot of time, and you get frustrated with EAs. And so that's where Ready Rolls is a big difference in the market. We're a placement, and we're looking for, you're paying us kind of like we're the expert. And that's how we take our job. If we see anything in onboarding, we're not just trying to push you to get out of the way. We're saying, hey, Mark, this isn't long-term hire material. We know you paid us. I know you don't want to hear this right now, but you paid us for a long-term hire, and we're playing the percentages. We don't like this sign. And we're looking to get you set up where and that's what we do. We set up you with a third party that we know. They handle the payment gateway, they handle the contract, and they handle the screen record. And guess what? My team monitors it. And we'll come to you and tell you if we see low activity and see what's going on. I think we did that to Market one time, and they were doing a bunch of editing or something on the screen recorder on a remote screen. Right? You had to tell you, wait a minute, she's going in remote and it didn't do the recorder. But that's my team's telling me they're watching everybody's stuff. So I have already the cost. So I just have the one-time fee. I'm literally charging you for the onboarding. And it comes with my awesome recruiting team because I'm committed to the onboarding. So I want to be very picky on who we have in our pool. And I'm not going to have you're going to have candidates a ready roll in this. When you pay your fee, you're seeing video recording interviews within 48 hours, and you're saying, hey, I want a second interview, or give me enough more candidates. I want to see more. And so I can keep going on differences. I'm built on differences, right, on that side.
One of the biggest things that I found was that when I said, okay, I'm looking for this position, you're right on the ball. It was within 48 hours. I had 3 candidates, and it wasn't going, here, Mark, here's the resumes, go through them. I think these are good. It was, here's the video recordings. We've interviewed them. And I'll tell you what I loved about it is I automatically could see their personality through the video. I could see how strong their accents were. Not that it has to play an issue, But if I'm having them answer a phone call, or if they are doing work on behalf of me and you're setting them up with, some type of Ring Central or dial pad, and they're making outbound phone calls, it, listen, at the end of the day, it all plays a variance, right? So depending on what you're looking for, but it allowed me to have an interview with these individuals without actually being the interviewer. Like, it was already being done. So I could quickly scan, watch maybe 5-10 minutes of it, really kind of get a good essence of who this person was, and go, great, I really like this person, I like that person. Let's set up an interview. It was fantastic. And I'm going to carry this on. When the onboarding, Stephen Reed talked about this, and he said there's a 10-day onboarding program. I want everybody to understand this. This is not every single day. So day 1, day 2, day 3. Ready Rolls will work with your schedule. So when I'm hiring a VA and we'll do like the day 1 onboarding, we might not do the day 2 like till 2 days later. Or I'll do the first 5 days to kind of really hammer things out, make sure they're efficient, and then I almost spread out the next 5 days, maybe every second day, every third day, and it ends up being like a 2-3 process. His onboarding team are so amazing. Shout out to Jonas. He is
JP,
hilarious. I always crack him up when I talk to him, and
Chris, yeah,
and
Chris and
he always gets a
Audi.
good laugh out of it. I love it because I am always a little bit of a shyster and a smartass, and I hold him on his tippy toes all the time. Poor JP. But the team is there, and they're building that SOP for me. Like, they're getting the guidelines of what I need and what I'm looking for, sending it to me, and then making sure. So every time I'm jumping on a onboarding call and we're at day 5, day 6, they've already had a conversation. They've usually talked to the new VA 15-20 minutes prior to me even jumping on, to make sure they are following all the steps and all the protocols. And then I come on, and then it's like, oh, okay. So then someone like Jonas that's doing the onboarding, he can at least go, Mark, we've talked about this, we've talked about this, we see that he needs help here. How's everything going? What are your concerns? What's your feedback? The VA can answer if there's any issues as well too. So it's almost like you have this mediator that's helping build your training program, so that when the day 10 comes and you're ready to graduate and here's your VA, it's go time.
It's built. Hey, that's the thing. Ready Rolls is built by a man on fire. Literally talking about myself, but a man on fire doing business as I had to train people on fire. So we are built for you to come in into June. Hey, I just need 30 minutes, 5 days in a 10-day period. That's all I need with you. We can do the setup while you're on that call, but it's built for a man on fire. I need help, come in and get me a VA support in my right arm. It is literally built that. So thank you for talking about experience, man. The heart and soul that this team puts in it. Hearing JP, hearing you give shout outs to JP, Chris, Audi, Carla on our team, Mads, Pat, and you did mention the interview. So my team works really hard to get personality out of people in the first interview, because they're really trained in these international schools to be very proper. And so they really work hard to say, you'll see goofy things in the interview to try to get personality out for you to see who you're working with them and stuff.
Before we ever started using a moving CRM, someone asked me, could you 10x what you're doing right now with the current systems and processes you have in place? And I said no. And so he was like, well, then you need to just pull the trigger on the software. And then I saw Smart Moving, and it was game over.
Austin joined thousands of moving owners on Smart Moving in 2021. Since then, he's more than doubled his business.
And I always compare Smart Moving to Apple products. It's just so simple, so easy to use, and that's really what's allowed my team to scale and now have 2 branches. And last year we scaled Central Coast Moving over 50% growth.
If you're ready to turn your moving company into a machine that drives profit, not chaos, try Smart Moving.
And I'll do that no problem either way. I remember when we were hiring my EA, and he was wearing a hoodie. And the very first interview, he was wearing, a nice shirt, and he looked all prim and proper. And then it was like day 2 onboarding, and he was like in like a sweatshirt or like some type of hoodie, and I was just razzing him about how unprofessional he was. And I said, this is unacceptable. You have to be in a nice shirt and a tie when you come on to a video call with me.
It's hot. Yeah.
And poor
Yeah.
Joyce, they were like so taken back, but you know, to be
It's
I
funny.
was like,
Yeah.
no, of course you can just wear a hoodie. And but it was hilarious. But it really allowed them also to see who I am, so that there's that sense of tension off their shoulders of, you know, if I'm going to be this harsh boss, how am I going to work? I really want a good relationship with, especially with my EA, right? There's a whole different vibe when I'm talking to someone about my social media manager or my podcast manager, and I'm like, hey, this has to get done, that has to get done, da, 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 da.
And that's what Jonas is there for too. If you're hearing anything, Jonas is not there just to onboard the ready role. Jonas is there to hold your hand through this VA process to make sure you're successful. And that's where our program's key on that side. So answer all your questions about this world.
Now, I kind of want to touch on this because it's got brought up in multiple conversations. I know I brought it up to you as well too. Those that are interested in signing with Ready Rolls, they turn around, they go, yes, but Steven has this like one-time fee, and which you've explained earlier about what that process is, what it entails, and it helps cover those costs of having all of this ready to go. It's a one-time fee. The conversation that's got brought up, Steven, is if I'm looking for, I'm going to use different scenarios. If I'm looking for a VA to help me with social media, and I want to expand out on my social media game. And then I'm looking through, you know, my org chart going, here's some of the holes I need to fill. I need someone actually in dispatch. How does it work if I was looking to expand my social media team as opposed to looking for a completely different position when it comes to these initial costs?
That leads me into what is a ready role. Right. So we built in what is a ready roll because of my experience with ready rolls. And so our product is really our systems, our onboarding, and knowing what a moving company needs. And that first one is a pickup player. The first one is your head honcho, and we teach them, which is called a ready roll. It's an executive assistant for you, but we teach them to be a versatile player, right? And we teach them to be your right arm. And we know a business owner needs to not look backwards and go to the next thing. And they're learning as you put together something back on the tracks or a system in place, and they're watching it behind you while you put it in the next place. And through this, they're learning your culture. And those ready roles are the ones that we're vetting that want to work with somebody long term, that only work, no project work, right? That only work with one person and want to be there for 20 years if they can, right? And so they're looking to learn everything about Movified on your podcast, VA, right? They're wanting to learn and be a part of that and be a part of that growth. And then when you hire another role through us, a custom role, as you mentioned, we don't do much. We actually we teach the ready role, if you're a ready role client, how to train and manage that new custom role. So the custom role is kind of like somewhere, kind of like some VA services where it's a placement and not a management service. It's similar to that fee, but it rolls in and it gets a lot cheaper. You get a 20% discount if you already have a ready role. And I'm set up that way because I know the success is in your ready role, and it's set up to pick up stuff at first and learn and then manage other VAs. Because the key is to have one VA that manages your other VAs that you talk to every day. But then you don't have to have a tree of VAs under you. That person is giving you the information and running the ship on your side, just like you're doing over here in Canada. And that's the key of what a ready role is, executive assistant on that side that picks up, it's pickup player, Scottie Pippen.
If you're considering Snowball, just do it.
Snowball creates done-for-you referral programs for moving companies so you can turn happy customers into new revenue without lifting a finger. And the results speak for themselves.
In less than a year, we've collected over 2,000 referrals.
We generated over $200,000 of revenue that cost about $5,000 to do it.
I believe we had 4 or 5 the very first day.
The companies winning with Snowball are the ones that already care about their customers. We just help turn that into new business through human outreach and customer nurturing.
Snowball is part of the arsenal of tools that I recommend to my clients because it works.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Your mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google, no one's gonna call, no one's gonna book. Here is the deal. If your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
Yeah, so I set up this Ready Roll player. I set up my EA. He's all set. Now I want to expand out. I want to hire a couple more other VAs. What you're saying is that when I'm now going back to Ready Rolls and saying, okay, I need another player, I need another person on my team, it's going to be another fee, but at a 20% discount. Or how does that work?
Yeah, it's going to be another fee, but it's going to be a 20% discount. And our onboarding is going to go into your Ready Roll again, and it's going to be into training and managing this new role and this new custom role you had. Right? So that's the effect that we have. We keep investing in your long-term employee, knowing those specialty roles, those single players, they're less likely to be there long-term. They're more likely to do project work and things of that nature. So again, we want your investment in and Philippines are big on hierarchy, right? So kind of knowing that system, we want our investment in going into your long-term player on that stuff.
Which I think is really important. And I appreciate you explaining that because a lot of people are kind of thinking, but like, look, I always tell people, figure out your numbers, look at what the cost is. And typically that cost might be, if you break it down, might be a little bit of a higher wage for the first year. And then the idea, like Steven keeps embedding in everybody, and please understand this, when you're trying to hire a VA, the idea is that you are there or you are in the need of a VA because you're trying to grow your company. You're trying to expand. That's not because you're a hit and run business and you're going to last for another year. It's that you were trying to hire employees that are long-term. How many of us are frustrated, right? Sharing your comments of employees that you spent all this time training, thousands of dollars that you spent and time to hire an employee. And then after 3-4 months or 6 months, they're gone and they've left to go somewhere else. And so the thing with Ready Rolls is they're there to really try and make sure there's this longevity of an employee. They want to ride the wave with you. They want to sail in that boat and get to that destination that you're trying to get to. And share in those wins.
We're riding with you the whole way. That's unheard of in the industry. That's because we're putting everything on a long-term hire. But I want to do some math, and I know our VA maybe will do some math, maybe can figure out how to throw some math together on that side. But all right, so as I said earlier, you're hiring a company. Maybe you mentioned it earlier. You're hiring a company that does management service for moving industry. And you do $15 an hour, right? So you're paying 15 times $40, 40 hours, right? That's $600 a month. $600 a week times 52. That's $31,200. They are paying. So let's just say what we have you pay a Ready Roll. $7 an hour. So 7 times 40 times 52 is $14,000. $14,000 compared to 32 in a year. I'm doing the one-time placement, right on that stuff.
The $7 an hour employees that you're finding are typically, I mean, look, you could ask them, hey, listen, this is the role that I'm looking for. What's the average? They'll tell you, well, you probably can get away with $5 an hour, $6 an hour for this person. If you really want to keep them longer, you might want to pay them a bit more. It really depends. It's just like, hiring a staff member in your office, like an admin person, as opposed to a management person. So, there is that flex in the hourly wage. But if you're giving someone a $7 an hour wage full time, they are more than happy to work for a very long time with you. You bonus them out every once in a while, like an extra $100 here and there. I mean, I'll never forget having a VA that I was having part time, and I finally asked her and said, "Look, I really want you full time." And and she was so excited because she knew that it was going to help support her brothers and sisters that were younger than her and help alleviate some of that pressure off her parents. And
You don't want
cost me an
part-time
extra
guys.
like 200, cost me what, an extra $200 a week kind of thing, like it was like nothing.
You don't, just to say that, you don't want, I'm going to go back on the price, but you don't want a part-time VA, guys, because you're going to lose them the moment somebody offers them the full-time role if you get a good one. And somebody's going to offer them for a full-time role. So again, things I've learned, but to go back on the price, Mark, $33K at $15 an hour. At $7 an hour, which you're paying directly to your VA to stay long-term, not to us, not $1 anymore, is $14,000. My fee is $3 for the onboarding of the systems to make it success. In 1 year versus that competitor, that's a $16,000 difference going with Ready Rolls versus that competitor who was doing the management service. And I'm offering a 120-day guarantee. So I love to be asked what's different because we're not the same product. I am a different product than what's out there because I built the product on the moving company industry needs and didn't know the other product out there. I knew my experience in moving industry, and I built a price based on what I'm giving. And I'm saying I'm not managing, I'm giving you a tool. I have the support to come back to. So that's kind of a difference of what a Ready Roll organization, a Ready Roll is, why I push a EA. And again, a EA is very talented and can do a lot of things, but after onboarding, we're going to teach them how to build at things where you don't have to wake up an hour early, and they're going to carve stuff out of your deck.
Are you a mover looking to make an impact? Discover Moving Letters AI and join the ML Plus Club today. Elevate your customer engagement with the personal touch of handwritten letters.
If you want to take your company to that next level, it's the only way to subscribe. If you're doing anything but Moving Letters AI, you need to get on it. So it's going to take your business to that next level. You're going to see an increase in that revenue. Let's go.
I highly recommend using this company. They're amazing to work with. They even send you an email on how much work they're producing for you.
Don't miss out. Join the revolution and start making moves that matter.
Put a golden damn ticket in there with Moving Letters AI.
Just having an EA to manage your emails, guys and gals that are listening, is a game changer.
But what I'll recommend too is don't intersect with the onboarding. That's what you're paying for, guys. I know you want the EA, you're excited, but let us do our thing on the onboarding, because that's where we're going through the exercises. And when they don't ask us something and they don't have something completed, we're able to have that opportunity space to say, hey, this Canadian or American business owner, we're not going to play like that. He's not going to see that as acceptable. And we have literally things where they fail. So we can have those, they can't pass, so we can have those conversations or see, did you come to us or did you just not do it? And we're doing these exercises. Even if you don't need us to do the certain things that we're doing in the onboarding, let us do our thing and they're going to be knowledgeable. It's well worth it. So to not pull your Ready Roll earlier, just a strong recommendation on that.
Now, as much as I want to wrap this up, I know Steven is going to
I got a new role.
Block me off Instagram for at least a week if I don't talk about the Data Activator role. I want to know about what this role is because it sounds very interesting. So can you kind of walk me through what this is? I'm going to hold you to it though. I'm giving you 5 minutes.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. But because the data activator role is what everybody's going to want to hear. That's the instant ROI for the moving industry. But the data activator role is our second role. So the way I see scaling, the way I see a moving company, and that's not a logistics company, a moving company as they grow. If I could do it all over again, you get your EA, you get your Swiss Army knife, and then your next role is to get you more business, right? And what I can't promise, what nobody can promise in a 2-week period, is training somebody to be a salesman of an industry they didn't know about on day 1 and have them where they're selling on day 11. Right? It's just not possible. I wish I could. Guys, I've tried everything I can to make that a successful product, knowing the need for it. And if somebody if somebody's saying, "Hey, I can get you an instant sales agent in the moving industry from another country that doesn't operate like us," I would share your return rate's probably going to be pretty high, because that's why we created the data activator role. Somebody has to learn the industry. Right. And so we created a role to create ROI and create leads that grow into a sales position, right, in a 60-day ramp up period. But our onboarding gets them using data, cold calling, cold texting, realtor follow up, realtor business development keep up, marketing, Facebook, Instagram, content management, right? Influencer, hometown dominator online. So the data activator role in a 2-week onboarding period. And Mark, this one, we only need 1 hour for your time on day 1 to get us locked into the systems and get this person set up to be a salesperson. And so
this conversation has been going around for months behind the scenes, maybe the front of the scenes. I don't know. I always feel like it's behind the scenes when I'm talking to different.
I've been working my butt off on it. Yeah, on this something. Yeah.
And talking about the reality of social media and getting into direct messaging, automating it, and reaching out to those potential clients through direct marketing. Like in direct marketing in a sense of like, direct message, DMing, right? Let's DM everybody, but also just treating it like it would be a quick lead, like being fast, efficient, building that rapport and expanding it, right? Like the more people that can share your content, the more you're out there. It's what we've said it on the show. We tell everybody, well, get your office staff to start sharing your posts. Why? Because somebody on their feed will like it. Well, we started doing that actually with one of our social media VAs, where they were reaching out. They're building, she was building a whole Excel spreadsheet of all the realtors they were contacting, this whole process. And I feel like if I can expand on this, Stephen, what you're doing is having a single entity, one VA, that is managing not just the reach out, but also the cold calls, also just making sure that you are like building this. I feel like the return on that would be huge, because if you have the right person that's trained, the world's your oyster, and especially at that hourly wage.
In my system, again, in the system that I use, right? In Memphis, where I get to the size I'm at with the market I have, right? I've been doing this for a long time. And so we work the listings, right? We get tier 2 data. We work those listings. We have the information, right? We're going to call, we're going to email, we're going to text, we're going to do my follow-up system. It's not 3, 2, 1. It's a little more rigorous, but it's more, hey, we're the company. I won't give away all the stuff, but we get you leads. We're appointment setting. We're getting your salespeople, are you virtual estimates booked on the leads as people hit the market, right? We have different campaigns they're running for houses that got pending. They have different campaigns for houses that we have that just changed to listed. We're also on the side contacting realtors and doing business development and having a database where we're reaching out, where either you want to have coffee appointments or you want us to just get them in a pivot program like Friends, a pivot program where your customers get a discount and have different treatment, right? So we're building your realtor database focuses on the top realtors of the city. And what we're also doing is we're controlling, we're clearing out who you're following on social media, and we're messaging directly to influencers of people in moving companies in the city. And so all this, and weekly we're sending you a report, not we, your data activator role, your employee is getting a report that's telling you your ROI from the tier 2 data that you're purchasing and that they're managing, and theirs, and their pay plus their VoIP. They're giving you what your ROI is on that position that week. They know what their drive is. And on this role, same time, that one-time fee, right? We get the 2-week onboarding. We only need 1 hour. Now on ready roles, we need 30 minutes on day 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10. However, on the data activator role, which some people like to get their feet wet on, right, because it has ROI and you don't have to manage much and they have a system, that we recommend it's $1,000 a month that you pay them directly. So $5.75 that we're recruiting for you. And you give $10 for every virtual estimate that they book. Your salesperson actually books revenue. And that's the incentive plan that we think gets you into the 60 days, and this person gets comfortable enough to start taking sales calls from there, in our opinion, and what our recent history and companies that we've been testing this with.
We recently hired Ready Roles to help us with hiring some offshore help, some VAs, and they've done an amazing job. They found the perfect candidate for our company. Not only that, they helped answer the questions that we had about the process. Initially, hiring a VA can be a bit intimidating, but they answered all the questions. It's been an amazing experience. Our VA has been a huge part of our success thus far. We're actually in the process of hiring a few more right now. Definitely see them as being a key part of our growth and reaching our goals in 2025. And the game changer for our company, I'm confident to be a game changer.
Visit ReadyRoles.com. There is now a better way to scale.
If someone is visiting Ready Roles, or they're going to readyroles.com/movified, filling out a form to kind of learn more, can they ask about this? Is there a way in like a subject line or something if they're looking for that data activator role available now? Like, how can people reach out to you to find out about this?
Well, first of all, you can DM me. I'm very, very accessible, and my VA Chris is in my inbox and live, right? And so also on the website, you can book a consult or you can email. So I'm very, very accessible, as you know, Mark. I do a lot with my time. I will say I'm a lot more textable and messenger than if you're trying to get just a side call in between meetings. I use my time really, really wisely. So schedule an appointment with me. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you how you're going to get this ROI on this side, and let's get this thing kicked off. If you're just hesitant about your VA journey, or you've just had experiences where it didn't pay off and you wasted time, this is built for you not to have to use your time and have somebody long term. And so I'm rolling it out because I know I got to have a good product, Mark. It's my name. It's what I put everything out there on. And so I haven't put out the other roles yet, but that's the system for a moving company. You have a ready role. You have somebody you talk to every day that manages the system. You have a data activator role, right, that then can grow into a sales rep and keep going other data activator roles that scale that way and manage under the tree, right? You have a dispatcher or a customer service rep that does claims that then manage dispatchers under that ready role, right? And then you have the recruiter / bookkeeper that's under that ready role as you grow. That we like to say a bookkeeper level 3, so you can get into that financial ops before they're a financial ops person, because as we all know, that's a different level. So you want to get them at that bookkeeper level 3 and test them, incentivize them to bring controlling like aspects. But that's how that's the modern day scaling of a moving company. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like how you systemize this. This is fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you for giving me the platform, right? To talk about.
It's about time that we kind of really dive deep into ready roles, because, and it's not even one of those. I feel like when we started, sitting there on the podcast in October, it was definitely one of those situations where it was, the name was out there, things were happening. And I think it's about time where people want to really dive deep into here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. This is my ticking time bomb of a clock here, who's coming to join in on the show.
Hey, what's
Say
going
hi.
on? How was the airport today?
Did you have fun in the airport?
Give her the headset. We got a new co-host.
Here, you're gonna co-host. Okay, let's see how this works here. Say hi.
Hey, were you on a big plane
Say hi,
today?
Steven.
Ow. She's probably tired.
I think she just came from the swimming pool. So tired.
Yeah, she's gonna
creeping
sleep
in
well tonight. Been on a plane,
Yeah,
going across
she's-
the country.
She's waiting
Our
for her
countries.
own. She's waiting for her own VA. I feel like she needs her own executive assistant, so she can we can have her deal with them.
Better
Manage.
work-life balance. More playtime is what she needs.
More playtime.
She
I
needs
know.
more
She's just
playtime.
working
Yeah.
too hard. Working too hard.
Yeah. Dad
So-
wants me to do chores. What is this? He's trying to teach me something.
I know exactly.
But all in all, man, I can sum it up in one line, Mark, on that. Yeah. Is the difference in Ready Rolls is we don't make money off your assistant. We make money off making sure they last. Right. And that's the big difference in us and other companies. We're trying to go for a win-win-win and stay out of it. At that side, we're trying to set you up for success, be there as a resource, and y'all grow the relationship. And that's why I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. That's why I'm working my butt off. As you know, I'm already busy on it and enjoying every minute of talking to the moving industry on that side. So please reach out to me.
If you're not looking at the descriptions on all of our posts, there's the link. You see the link in there. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't reach out. And what's it going to stop you from, Steven loves, and I feel bad for him because his schedule must just fill up with phone calls and messages all the time, but he loves to share and understand what other moving companies are going through and then share some of his experiences so that we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. And so
100%.
the worst case is to at least go do a consult, find out what he needs, what you need within your organization, and get on it. I mean, guys, when you think
That's what
about,
I'm confident in. Mark, I'm confident that talk to me. I'm not going to do a hard sell because I know if you try to do it without me, you're going to hear me talking about it. You're going to hear others talking about it. And eventually you're going to talk to me. So you're not getting a hard sell for me.
No, for sure.
Right. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm going to help you grow to where you need it. In my mind, it's a win-win. That's what I'm driven on. So thank you for the platform today on that.
Hey, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. For all those that are listening,
It's getting dark out there.
I told you. My tiki lights are lit up, and my wife put on the lights outside here, to make sure that I wasn't totally going super dark in the video. But, for those that are listening, share your comments. If you have a VA already, what's worked? What was your first VA? Who was it? What was their role? Let us know. We'd love to know in the
How'd you get
comments.
them?
How'd you get
How'd you
them?
find them?
Exactly. What's working, what's not. And if you have a ready role, please, celebrate it and share it in the comments as well, too. Thank you guys so much. And for all those that are listening, stay Movified.
Thank you.